Good morning and shalom. Today we're going to read Numbers chapters 33. And these are the departures of the children of Yisrael who went out of the land of Mishraim by their divisions under the hand of Moshe and Aaron. And Moshe wrote down the starting points of their departures at the mouth of Yahu'ah, and these are their departures according to their starting points. So they departed from Ramses in the first new month of the 15th day of the first month, on the morrow of Passah. The children of Yisrael went out with boldness before the eyes of all the Mizraites. And the Mizraites were burying all their firstborn whom Yahu'ah had stricken among them. Also on their mighty ones Yahu'ah had executed judgments. Then the children of Yisrael departed from Ramesses and camped at Succoth. And they departed from Succoth and camped at Etham, which is on the edge of the wilderness. And they departed from Etham and turned back to Pi-Haroth, which is east of Baal Zephon. And they camped near Midol, and they departed from before Heroth and passed over through the midst of the sea into the wilderness. Went 3 days and journey into the wilderness of Etham and camped at Marah. And they departed from Marah and came to Elim, and at Elim were 12 springs of water and 70 palm trees. So they camped there. And they departed from Elim and camped by the Sea of Reeds. And they departed from the Sea of Reeds and camped in the wilderness of Sin. And they departed from the wilderness of Sin and camped at Dophah. And they departed from Dophah and camped at Alush. And they departed from Alush and camped at Rephidim. And there was no water for the people to drink. And they departed from Rephidim and camped in the wilderness of Sinai. And they departed from the wilderness of Sinai and camped at Kibroth Hatta'awah. And they departed from Kibroth Hatta'awah and camped at Heshtaroth. And they departed from Heshtaroth and camped in Rithmah. And they departed from Rithmah and camped at Ramon Paratz. And they departed from Ramon Paratz and camped at Libnah. And they departed from Libnah and camped at Risha. And they departed from Risha and camped at Kelalatha. And they departed from Kelalatha and camped at Mount Shafar. And they departed from Mount Shafar and camped at Harada. And they departed from Mount Harada and camped at Mechheloth. And they departed from Mechheloth and camped at Tahalath. And they departed from Tahalath and camped at Terah. And they departed from Terah and camped at Mithkah. And they departed from Mithkah and camped at Heshmonah. And they departed from Heshmonah and camped at Moseroth. And they departed from Moseroth and camped at Bene Yaakan. And they departed from Bene Yaakan and camped at Hor Hagadad. And they departed from Hor Hagadad and camped at Yotabatha. And they departed from Yotabatha and camped at Abrona. And they departed from Abrona and camped at Etzion Geber. And they departed from Etzion Geber and camped in the wilderness of Sin, which is Kadesh. And they departed from Kadesh and camped at Mount Hor on the boundary of the land of Edom. Then Aaron the priest went up to Mount Hor in the mount of Yahu'ah and died there in the 40th year after the children of Yisrael had come out of the land of Mizraim, on the first day of the 15th new month. Now Aaron was 123 years old when he died on Mount Hor. And the sovereign of Arad the Canaanite, who dwelt in the south in the land of Canaan, heard of the coming of the children of Yisrael. So they departed from Mount Hor and camped at Salmanar. And they departed from Salmanar and camped at Punon. And they departed from Punon and camped at Oboth. And they departed from Oboth and camped at Leel Ha-Abraham at the border of Moab. And they departed from Liam and camped at Dibon Gad. And they departed from Dibon Gad and camped at Almon de Labahalimah. And they departed from Almon de Halabamayamah and camped in the mountains of Abram before Nebu. And they departed from the mountains of Abram and camped in the desert plains of Moab by the Yarden of Yarrow. And they camped by the Yarden from Baaleth Yeshmoth as far as the Abel Smitten in the desert plains of Moab. And Yahu'ah spoke to Moshe in the desert plains of Moab by the Yarden of Yarrow, saying, Speak to the children of Yisrael, and say to them, When you have passed over the Yarden into the land of Canaan, then you shall drive out all the inhabitants of the land from before you, and shall destroy all their engraved stones, and shall destroy all their molding images, and lay waste on all their high places. And you shall possess the land and dwell in it, for I have given you the land to possess. And you shall divide the land by a lot as an inheritance among your clans. To the larger you give a larger inheritance, and to the smaller you give a smaller inheritance. Wherever the lot falls to anyone that is his, you inherit according to the tribes of your fathers. And if you do not drive out the inhabitants of the land from before you, then it shall be that those whom you let remain be pricks in your eyes and thorns in your sides, and they shall trouble you in the land where you dwell. And it shall be that I do to you as I have thought to do to them. Numbers 34. And Yahu'ah spoke to Moshe, saying, Command the children of Yisrael, and say to them, When you come into the land of Canaan, this is the land which falls to you as an inheritance, the land of Canaan to its boundaries. Then your southern border shall be from the wilderness of Sin among the border of Edom, and your southern border shall be eastward from the end of the Salt Sea. Then your border shall turn from the southern side of the ascent of Aquarhebim, continue to Sin, and be on the south of Kadesh Barnea. And it shall go on to Heshar Adar, and continue to Atzmon. And the border shall turn from Atzmon to Wadi of Misrim, and it shall end at the sea. As for the western border, you shall have the great sea for a border. This is your western border. And this is your northern border. From the great sea you mark out your borderline to Mount Hor. From Mount Hor you mark out your border to the entrance of Hamath, and the edge of the border shall be toward Sedad. And the border shall proceed to Zaphron, and it shall end at Hestar Anan. This is your northern border. And you shall mark out your eastern border from Hestar Anan to Shepham. And the border shall go down from Shepham to Riblah on the east side of Ain, and the border shall go down and reach to the eastern side of the sea of Kinnereth. And the border shall go down along the Yarden, and it shall end at the Salt Sea. This is your land with its surrounding boundaries. And Moshe commanded the children of Yashrael, saying, This is the land which you inherit by lot, which Yahu'ah has commanded to give to the 9 tribes and to the half-tribe. For the tribe of the children of Reuben according to the house of their fathers, and to the tribe of the children of Gad according to the house of their fathers, have received their inheritance, and the half-tribe Manasseh has received its inheritance. The 2 tribes and the half-tribe have received their inheritance beyond the Yarden of Yarrow, eastward toward the sunrise. And Yahu'ah spoke to Moshe, saying, These are the names of the men who divide the land among you as an inheritance: Eleazar the priest and Yahushua son of Nun. And take 1 leader of every tribe to divide the land for the inheritance. And these are the names of the men from the tribe of Yehudah: Caleb son of Jephunneh, and from the tribe of the children of Simeon, Shemiel son of Ammihud, from the tribe of Benjamin, Elidad son of Kislan, and a leader from the tribe of the children of Dan, Bukay son of Yogale. And from the sons of Joseph, a leader from the tribe of children of Manasseh, Haniel son of Ephod, and a leader from the tribe of the children of Ephraim, Kumiel son of Shiftan, and a leader from the tribe of the children of Zebulun, Elistelaphan son of Parnak, and a leader from the tribe of the children of Yishakar, Palatiel son of Azan, and a leader from the tribe of the children of Asher, Ahihud son of Shemali, and a leader from the tribe of the children of Naphtali, Panidael son of Ammaheld. These are the ones Yahu'ah commanded to divide the inheritance among the children of Yashrael in the land of Canaan. Chapter 35. And Yahu'ah spoke to Moshe in the desert plains of Moab by the Yarden of Yarrow, saying, Command the children of Yashrael that they shall give the Luites cities to dwell in from the inheritance of their possession. Also give the Luites open land around the cities. And they shall have the cities to dwell in their open land for their cattle, and for their herds, and for all their livestock. And the open land of the cities which you give the Luites are from the wall of the city outward 1,000 cubits all around. And you shall measure outside the city on the east side 2,000 cubits, and on the south side 2,000 cubits, and on the west side 2,000 cubits, and on the north side 2,000 cubits, and the city is in the middle. This is to them the open land for the cities. And the cities which you give to the Luites are the 6 cities of refuge, which you give to the manslayer to flee to, and to those you add 42 cities. All the cities which you give to the Luites are 48, these with their open land. And the cities which you give are from the possession of the children of Yashrael. From the larger tribe you give many, from the smaller you give few. Each one gives some of its cities to the Luites, in proportion to the inheritance that each inherits. And Yahu'ah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Yashrael, and say to them, When you pass over the Yarden into the land of Canaan, then you shall choose cities to be cities of refuge for you, that the manslayer who struck someone mistakenly shall flee there. And they shall be cities of refuge for you from the revenger, and the manslayer is not to die until he stands before the congregation for right ruling. And of the cities which you give, 6 are to be cities of refuge, and 3 cities beyond the Jordan, and give 3 cities in the land of Canaan as cities of refuge. These 6 cities are for refuge for the children of Israel, and for the sojourner, and for the settler in their midst, for anyone who mistakenly strikes someone to flee there. But if he has stricken him with an instrument of iron so that he dies, he is a murderer. The murderer shall certainly be put to death. And if he has stricken him with a stone in the hand by which one could die, and he does die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall certainly be put to death. Or if he has stricken him with a wooden instrument that could kill, and he does die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall certainly be put to death. The revenger of blood himself puts the murderer to death. When he meets him, he puts him to death. And if he thrusts him through in hatred, or throws an object at him while lying in wait, so that he dies, or in enmity he strikes him with his hand so that he dies, the one who struck him shall certainly be put to death, for he is a murderer. The revenger of blood puts the murderer to death when he meets him. But if he pushes him suddenly without enmity, or throws an object out at him without lying in wait, or uses a stone by which a man could die thrown at him without seeing him, so that he does die, while he was not his enemy or seeking his arm, then the congregation shall judge between him who struck someone and the revenger of blood according to these right rulings. And the congregation shall rescue the manslayer from the hand of the revenger of blood, and the congregation shall return him to the city of refuge where he had fled, and he shall remain there until the death of the high priest who has atoned with the set-apart oil. But if the manslayer at any time goes out the limits of the city of refuge where he fled, and the revenger of blood finds him outside the city of his refuge, and the revenger of blood executes the manslayer, he is not guilty of blood, because he should have remained in his city of refuge until the death of the high priest. But after the death of the high priest, the manslayer is to return to the land of his possession. And these shall be for a law of right ruling to you throughout your generations in all your dwellings. Whoever strikes a being, the murderer shall be executed by the mouth of witnesses. But one witness does not bear witness against someone to die. And to take no ransom for the life of a murderer who is guilty of death, but he shall certainly be put to death. And take no ransom for him who has fled to his city of refuge to return to dwell in the land before the death of the priest. And do not profane the land where you are, for blood profanes the land, and the land is not pardoned for the blood that is shed on it, except by the blood of him who shed it. And do not defile the land which you inhabit, in the midst of which I dwell. For I, Yahu'ah, am dwelling in the midst of the children of Yisrael. Chapter 36. And the heads of the fathers of the clans of the children of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, of the clans of the sons of Joseph, came near and spoke before Moshe, and before the leaders, the heads of the fathers of the children of Yisrael, and said, Yahu'ah commanded my master to give the land as an inheritance by lot to the children of Yisrael, and my master was commanded by Yahu'ah to give the inheritance of our brother Zelophehad to his daughters. Now, if they are married to any of the sons of the other tribes of the children of Yisrael, then their inheritance shall be taken from the inheritance of our fathers, and shall be added to the inheritance of the tribe into which they marry, and taken from the lot of our inheritance. And if the Yobel of the children of Yashrael take place, then their inheritance shall be added to the inheritance of the tribe into which they marry, and their inheritance taken away from the inheritance of the tribe of our fathers. And Moshe commanded the children of Yashrael according to the word of Yahuwah, saying, What the tribe of the sons of Joseph speak is right. This is the word which Yahuwah has commanded for the daughters of Zelophehad, saying, Let them marry who is in good in their eyes, but let them marry only within the clan of their father's tribe. And the inheritance of the children of Yashrael is not to change hands from tribe to tribe, for every one of the children of Yashrael is to cling to the inheritance of the tribe of his fathers. And every daughter possessing an inheritance in any tribe of the children of Yashrael is to be the wife of one of the clan of her father's tribe, so that the children of Yashrael possess each the inheritance of his fathers. Thus, the inheritance is not to change hands from one tribe to another, but every tribe of the children of Yashrael is to cling to its own inheritance. As Yahuwah commanded Moshe, so did the daughters of Zelophehad, for Manalah, Tirsha, and Hoglah, and Milcah, and Noah, the daughters of Zelophehad, were married to the sons of their father's brothers. And they were married into the clans of the children of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, and their inheritance remained in the tribe of their father's clan. These are the commands and the right rulings which Yahuwah commanded the children of Yashrael by the hand of Moshe in the desert plains of Moab by the Jordan of Yarrow.